Awesome. We are live. We are live. Fantastic. Hey guys, welcome to our latest expert interview. It's John Bellamy here, and today I have with me Mark Robinson from the International Academy of Wealth. Now, full disclosure, I'm a business partner of Mark's, okay? So we have obviously got some self-serving interest here behind what we're talking about. Of course, you know, from that aspect, but most importantly, and I think we really need to address the elephant in the room is, Mark, how is it 9 weeks on without being able to get a haircut living in Sydney?
Same, right? Look at it. Look at that. I wake up at night and I go, look at that crazy bastard.
I love it.
Of a meme years ago, right, where you had to try and pick who was the most intelligent person in the world, or a psychopathic killer, right? I was like, who's a genius and who's a killer? And I'm looking at it going, man, I don't think I can tell myself right now, right?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, so like, Mark, the whole idea with these interviews that we're doing is, you know, I'm looking to, my whole missions to over the next 5 years is to go and connect and help 30,000 SMEs, really help them to connect, grow and protect their wealth, right? And that falls in with the business interests that I have, including the International Academy of Wealth. So I'm looking to bring on experts like yourself and others to really help support that and share some value with the community. So for everybody, because we're spreading this out to the database, I know we're streaming it live into the Facebook group and all that at the moment, but for everybody who doesn't know who Mark is and doesn't know who the International Academy of Wealth is, give us a quick 30-second minute intro of who you are and what we do as a company.
Yeah, cool. Look, guys, I've been in financial services now. I know I don't look this old, but I've been in financial services 32 years. Right. And look, I know exactly how the current system works, and it's broken. It's as simple as that. You know, in fact, most systems we have right now.
Speak freely, sir.
No, we'll leave that rabbit hole alone. We all know the house system's rigged, just like the financial system, right? So what we do at the International Academy of Wealth is just show you how rigged it is. And then we give you the tools to basically go out and start to take responsibility for your financial education, your financial future, so that you can start making better financial choices and actually ultimately become financially independent, right? So that's it in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. So where I wanted to steer this conversation today, and it is a casual conversation that we're having, is obviously you and I, we work in the business world and all of that, and in the International Academy of Wealth company itself, we work with a cross-section of business owners as well as mums and dads, right?
Yeah.
But today, because of the probably 99% of the market that's going to be tuning into this interview, they're going to be small business owners. There might be a percentage of those that are going to be larger companies, etc., or reasonable, successful employees from that aspect. But I really wanted to dial in on the small business owner front, because let's face it, like we're not going to go on and harp on about COVID or anything along those lines, but let's face it, the last 18 months to 2 years, with the way that the world has gone, whilst there are a number of businesses that are absolutely killing it in the marketplace, there's probably the vast majority that have really struggled. Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was that the whole future of investing, and then the concept of how are we leveraging our business or businesses, leveraging the cash flow that comes through, or the profit that comes through, to go and create some additional income streams via investing.
Sure.
So take it away. Over to you, sir.
Look, I think the first part to address there, guys, is the biggest mistake business owners make, and nearly every single one of them do it, right, is you reinvest every frickin' cent back into your business, right? And if you think about what you've been doing over the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, all of a sudden, when your business stops, this is what's happened, right? Whatever situation you're in. And I remember when we first met, John, you literally were looking at me going, but Mark, if I put this money back in my business, I'll get a 30, 40, 50% return. Yep. Right? And I go, yeah, but it's back in your business, right? Yep. What if the business stops, right? Then the return turns to shit, right? So it doesn't really matter how much you put back into your business. You always should be reinvesting back in your business, but you should also, from day one, start the process and the habit of taking money out of the business and investing it into other asset classes.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot stress that enough. When we had, way back, it's getting, those of you that know me, you've heard this story before, but we've lost two very, small fortunes due to, an accountant who screwed us over for $1 million, and then someone stole a couple of $1 million off us and a few others, right? So if we didn't practice what we preached, we would have been certainly not happy on the first one and definitely out of the game for a while in the second.
Yeah.
And so if you think about having multiple streams of income that don't rely on your current business. So when this whole COVID crap happened back in March 2020, Billy and I literally thought, fuck it, right? Let's just close up shop, go sit on the beach, serve our lifetime members, and we'll all be happy. But at the end of the day, that wasn't our purpose in life, that we were driven to do more. And, it's hard to admit, but our business was built for crises like this. It really has made people realize that, hang on a minute, the government's not doing the right thing by us. Maybe our businesses aren't as secure as we first thought. Maybe we should start taking some responsibility to, about our financial future. And, we've had something, I mean, the numbers more than me, but,
the business is going pretty good.
300,
pretty darn good.
Increase in membership, and and now I'm on talking on more stages, and and our investments are ticking along diddly dundy good, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. We're obviously not going to get into how we're investing in a company perspective and share numbers around that, but like one of the things that I know you and Billy and Tyrell and Paulina and Rochelle and everyone involved, we're just sitting there going, like, guys, we're super excited. And because we see it firsthand every single month, what Mark's talking about here, we implement in the academy. And as a business, we take cash flow and profit and we invest it. And like ultimately, it doesn't matter if the business falls over. We've got income coming through from the investments, which is bloody spectacular. Okay, let's be clear, that business isn't falling over. Like Mark said, we're on a bit of a J curve at the moment in that company, which is great. Just a couple of things I wanted to dig in there. Like number one, you mentioned, and it's something that everyone talks about, but very few implement, is personal responsibility. Okay, yeah. So I want to check in on that in a sec. And then the other one, what I was thinking about is I was just putting myself in the hat of a business owner, and they're like, yeah, but I am taking profit. There's the whole profit first methodology and that whole thing. Well, my accountant helps me with this. Let's address this profit first methodology first, or mentality, or habit, whatever we want to call it. If like a lot of businesses will go, yeah, I'm taking my 10%, my 15%, whatever it is, profit, and I've got it sitting in the bank account. What's right? What's wrong about that? What could we do about it?
Well, look, I think especially smaller business owners, they think, I am taking my profit out, but they're living off it, right? So they're paying their mortgage or their car or whatever it is. So that to me is not taking profit. That's just, you've just got a job. Right. And sometimes you've got an arsehole boss, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to think of that. But what's wrong with it is quite often people put it into a bank account and then either do nothing with it, or something happens in their business and then they take it out and put it back in the business, or they will go on a holiday with it. Right. So they're not actually investing in it. And, one of the things we teach from day one, and even businesses should have it, is a wealth account where you actually put money aside to invest at some point in the future. And the big difference between, say, a wealth account and a savings account is you're putting money aside to spend it, right?
Yeah.
As a wealth account, you're putting it aside to invest it, and you'll never, ever be allowed to spend that capital ever. Right.
Yeah. So it's getting into that mindset of like, this is a non-negotiable. This is for investing, whatever that might be. We don't know what that is yet, but it's purely for investing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the whole mentality of their business, I can tell you right now, no one wants to buy your business, right? And I'm being harsh there, but it's fucking true, John. Like,
yeah.
I've seen businesses with net profits of $1 million close their doors because when the owners went to retire, no one wanted to buy it. Yep. Yeah. And if you think your bloody kids want to take over your business, they've seen how hard you work. They're going, fuck that, right?
Yeah.
So sorry about that. That's 3 F words.
That's all right, mate. This is fine. We're big boys here. We can handle it. It's okay.
Just like seriously think about it, right? Like, unless you have got a business that an investor wants to buy and the returns are 20, 30, 40% fully managed, no one wants it, mate. You've just got a glorified job. End of story. And I'm being harsh, guys, and I apologize for that. But no, actually I don't. But
it's the reality. It's true.
You've got to wake up for it, right? Wake up to it and go, all right, okay, I've got a job. What do I do with it? Well, maximize the investment by putting it into other opportunities, whether it's leveraging into property or, the other cash flow strategies that we have access to. It doesn't matter what it is, just start, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a really good segue into personal responsibility, self-responsibility, right? And let's all be abundantly clear here. Like if you're a business owner, if you have bought yourself a job and you're okay with that, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're in the mindset of, no, I'm building a fully fledged business with the view of exiting it, taking it public, selling it, whatever, there's nothing wrong with that either. It doesn't matter if you want to build a business that's only going to produce 100 grand or 100 million. It's up to you, right? So where's then personal responsibility coming to it? Because I know this is probably the biggest clincher out of all of it.
Look, one of the things I've said for years, because look, I was a licensed financial advisor for about 13, 14 years. And I found that those that seek advice are seeking someone to blame, right? And I literally had 4 people blame me, right, for giving them the right advice. Right advice, right? So come on, right? So you think about that and you go, okay, well, those that seek education seek responsibility. And that's the first thing that we teach in the academy is you're responsible for everything, right? We can give you our opinion, we can guide you, we can, give you access to experts, etc. But at the end of the day, think about what you're doing. And before you make a decision, have as much information as you possibly can, and then make it, whether it's a yes or a no. It makes it so much easier to go, okay, that didn't work out. What could I do better next time?
Yeah.
Right? And take responsibility. It's a far better way to live.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And this comes into money rules, right? So people tuning into this, whether it's now or later, probably when they hear the word or the term money rules, some of them might understand it, but most people probably don't. Do you want to explain that is? Because I know this is a core foundation of the International Academy of Wealth.
Yeah, look, it takes a bit to get your head around, but every decision you have, you should have a set of rules around it. And it's not just storing it in your head. Most of us actually have these money rules, but they're not actually written down anywhere. Mm-hmm. So to give you an example, right, Billy and I, we've had our money together pretty much from day one. So our money rules are we have a certain amount of money that goes into what we call a don't ask account, right? There, where we don't have to ask each other what we need to spend. I've got a fair bit in mind at the moment, John. So when borders are open, brother, I think it's a boys' weekend in Vegas. But that's another story. But anyway, right? So but even just simple money rules, right? We can spend up to $1,000 if we think it's going to help the household without consulting each other. Anything over that, you sort of go, well, okay, hey, we need a new fridge or whatever it may be. One of our money rules was we actually used to fly when our kids are smaller, outside school times, because during school holidays, flights anywhere were like twice the price, right? So we go, all right, we'll go a week after or a week before, and they'd miss out on a bit of school. But then one of the money rules had to change when they started to go into high school was, all right, we're just going to have to cop that extra expense, budget for it, put it in our budget, and then just spend it. So that's the sort of things you've got to look at doing, whether it's, and then on the other side is, what are your money rules around investing? Do you invest in things that you don't understand? And if you do, or what are you going to do to understand it before you get in it, right?
Yeah. I just remember that just triggered a story of someone that you and I both know, and they're like, oh yeah, we wanted to do that. Like, we saw this opportunity, we saw this thing come through, but we ended up investing money outside in a different opportunity that we didn't really know anything about, and we lost it all. And you're like, where were your money rules? But it paid a bigger percentage. And so I think that's really important. So transitioning that to business owners, let's put some scenarios, and let's all be abundantly clear here. None of this is financial advice, okay? Where we are having a conversation, and this is an opinion, period. If you don't like that, well, see you later. From that aspect. So, like, as a business owner, let's just hypothetically say, I don't know, a business owner, the business has done okay, and maybe they've got money from a year or a few years or whatever, and they've got, I don't know, 50K, say, in the bank somewhere, in a wealth account, if they've done it properly. Like, what when we look at the future of investing, like, we look at traditional, most Australians, it's in property and, then the stock market. But as we know now, there's a gazillion different ways that we can invest. But I'd say the trifecta right now, becoming more mainstream, would be still property, shares, and then crypto is becoming more. It's still like micro, but it's becoming more in the conversation these days. But, they're just three of a gazillion different places that you could put your money, correct? So if a business owner had 50 grand right now and they're looking to create another income off that, and I think the key word there is an income, that we're looking at that, like, what are some of the things that they could do when they're looking into the future for investing?
Yeah, look, good question, mate. And I'm going to sound like one of those arsehole politicians, right? By sitting on the fence on a lot of the time. But look, at the end of the day, it comes down to, we have this awesome spreadsheet that effectively allows you to sort of work out where it is that you want to be. All right. Because most people think, oh, I need 100 grand then to retire on. And the funny thing is when you actually budget, like, what is your lifestyle? What is your ideal life going to cost you? And you start working it out, you might be pleasantly surprised you only need 60 grand to live the life you want, right? Or you might need 180 grand, right? And so you've got to actually work out where it is you want to be first, right? And then you work out where you are now. Because one of the things we also find when they fill out the start, what we call the starting point, so they work out where all their current income is coming from and all their current expenses are going out, there's always a gap, right? So just to make life simple, if you filled out our spreadsheet, 100 grand comes in, 80 grand goes out, we find, where's the other 20 going? Like, why are you not monitoring where that goes? And the reason being, I'm going to bring that up before I talk about the 50 grand, is because the banks have got us right where they've educated us, right? They want you to tap, right? Nowadays, you don't even need it. You just got to tap your phone. You don't even need a card anymore. You don't have to insert your card, so that's getting you to subconsciously, and I want you to hear what I'm saying here. They want you to subconsciously transfer your wealth to them, right? Because when you're spending money without really knowing how much you're spending, you are literally subconsciously transferring your wealth to them. So one of the things we get you to do first, as you know, is we want you to find that 20 grand. Now, we don't mind if you don't change your habits, but at least you now go from subconscious to consciously spending your money. And that's a key, right? So now that we've got the starting point and where you want to be, that future plan, then you can start to develop what sort of asset class would be best to put that 50 grand in. Now, one of the things I learned years ago, John, is it's not, capital growth is a good place to park your money, right? And it's one of those sort of legacy things, but it doesn't make you free. Right. So if you buy a house for $500,000 and it's giving you gross returns or even net return of 2%, right, you're not going to be able to retire on that. And even though, you know, especially the Australian market is going Burko, right? I think it's the most overpriced freaking properties in the world.
Insane, the property prices.
You started on that, right? But here's the thing, and this is actually really hit home, right? So we sold out of our final property a couple of years ago, right? And we put it into the opportunities that we have access to. And mate, Jazzy, our eldest, she loves looking on the internet and shit about property and stuff, which is cool. Our old place on that where we first met, mate, is up for sale again. You know, like last week for literally anywhere from 180 to 250 grand more in just 2 years, right? So a lot of property people out there were going, haha, you missed out on 250 grand. Well, here's the thing, right? The money that we took out of that equity, we're currently making about 120 to 150,000 US in income, right, per year.
Yeah.
So there's
that must be a scam, Mark. That must be a scam. Any more than 2%.
Look, I think what people have to understand is these types of returns are available and they're out there, right? And you know my disclaimer, you know, probably off by heart. You know, you could find this information yourself out if you stop watching Netflix, get off Facebook or Tinder, right? Because it's out there, and everything that whenever we share a return when we're doing a presentation, you literally can go away and research to see if we're telling the truth, right? So when I look at that and I go, what gives you that ability to not go to work on Sunday is cash flow. And everyone thinks they have to find 100 grand a year or whatever your magic number is overnight. You don't. All you've got to do as a business owner is work out, well, you know what, if I had a $500 extra coming in a week that I didn't have to work, that means I could go to my son's soccer practice, you know, or go to my daughter's dance lessons or whatever it is, whatever part of your life is, right? It could be just mean that you actually don't have to go to work on a Saturday morning and you could go play golf.
It could just mean the car repayment.
Well, that's what it is, right? Most people literally will go to work on a Saturday to actually get some money in their bank for them, right? Because they work for the government on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Then the mortgage, the banks is Thursday. And if the banks have sucked you in to get 2 credit cards, a personal loan and a freaking car loan, then you're working till Friday afternoon. So the only time you've got to make money for yourself is Saturday, Sunday. And you wonder why you're burnt out, guys, is because you're working for everybody else, not you. So if we could just start, right, and we stop you working Sunday, right, and, you know, the bookkeepers out there will love me what I'm about to say, right? Even if you didn't, you just could hire a bookkeeper so you didn't have to do the books, right? Or your wife didn't have to do the books, or your husband didn't have to do the books, right? Then all of a sudden you've got working 5 days, and then you can just over time just go, you know, you decide when you want to turn up, you know. I had a guy reach out to me this week, mate. He thinks I'm working 24/7 because you know, last week we did the
event.
You know, I'm up at 2 a.m. right, till about 4, and then I'm doing coaching calls and stuff. And look, don't get me wrong. Right now we're working some long hours, right? You're talking 16, 18-hour days. But where the fuck can we go, right? We're in lockdown. We're in week 11. We've got 38 days to go. So I'm looking at it going, if you think you're going to get access to me over December, January, you're fucking shit out of luck.
But this is the thing. Like you're once again, you've made the personal decision, the personal responsibility of going, hey, this is the situation that we're in. We've got opportunities to go and speak on global stages, which are going to produce a truckload of leads for us. Let's capitalize on it, close, make a truckload more cash flow, help more people, and then we're building bank to go and invest more money.
Correct.
Like it's a decision. Yes, there's pros and cons with it. You're sleeping less, but it's a short period of time. And exactly like you said, what if we cancelled 4 trips to Japan? I think 4 or 5 trips to Japan in the last 12, 18 months. A couple to the US, New Zealand, probably every other month. I know I'm usually in Sydney a couple of times a month. So it's just like, where's all that going?
Well, it's hilarious, right? Like when all this crap started, we rented this big ass, I call it a resort, right? Because it's this massive house. You know, it literally has a a little tiny flat for John, right? And he hasn't fucking used it, right? And we've got a wing of the house that we haven't gone into since Jazzy's left, because Riley just ditched that and went to her pad. So guys, you know, when you think about it, when you start getting that cash flow out of your business, the stress just comes off, right? So, and then you know, if you don't need the money, then you just reinvest it. And then all of a sudden this compounding effect happens. So, and look, you know, if you guys want to turn up, this isn't a plug, but there's a, you know, I'm calling it, it's a bit cheesy, but maybe we got to get a better name, right? But I'm calling it the 50 grand plan, right?
Yep.
Basically, I show you month by month where you can take a 50 grand and turn it into an $8,000 a month cash flow in just 18 months, right? And I'm going to go through those 18 months in our event coming up on the Northern Hemisphere guys on the 19th, and then us down here on the 20th of September. So it's possible, guys. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but double-digit returns are normal. Triple-digit returns are normal when you understand how to allocate your assets correctly. And I know that's another story. We're talking about how do you maximize your profits? Well, you maximize your profits by getting it out of your business, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Mark, so let's just change gears slightly here. I know that there's always, you know, a lot of questions and thoughts and feelings about the whole crypto space, right? And I know currently in the academy we're halfway through our unbanking series. But let's just take a few moments and let's just talk about cryptocurrency. Like from a business perspective, maybe they, you know, let's just say that they've got a base level understanding of, I know what crypto is, but I really don't, from that aspect. Like, how important is it for people to start actually investing some time to understand that cryptocurrency markets from that perspective?
Oh, look, I'm going to be.
I know you're a massive fan.
Look, I'm going to be a bit facetious here on a couple of levels, right?
Yep.
There's two parts to cryptocurrency. There's the technology behind it, blockchain, right? And then there's the tokens themselves. Now, there's about 7,800 current tokens or coins, cryptocurrencies out there right now, and probably 100 getting added every day or week, right? So I would say 95% of them are shit and not worth the money you're about to pay for it, right?
Yep.
But then there are some cool actual coins that will make a difference and change the way we do things. Yep. And I think it was last year I did at our investor base camp. Remember I did a session, I went through about 50, maybe 55 industries that are moving to the blockchain.
Yep.
Right? Because the process is simple. Now, here's the thing. This is what I love about the blockchain. Nobody can actually hack it. And once it's proved, right? I'm not talking about hacking wallets or anything, Jonathan. Right? Can they be hacked? Yes. Right. But effectively, the whole chain itself can't be manipulated. Yeah. So if you think about that, imagine if we had the system where when you voted for somebody, right, Trump would still be here as an example. Yeah, because we all know that was rigged. But if you had that on the blockchain, well, I don't know if it's rigged. I've got no bloody idea, really. But if you think about it, I think that, you know, the one actually, we'll leave that there, right? But here's one that that would be really interesting. Remember years ago, one, we shouldn't have needed the vote, right? But remember the government spent what, 20 or 80 million bucks on gay marriage, right? Yeah. Remember that? Like, one, we didn't need it. People should be allowed to do whatever they want. But here's the thing, if we had the blockchain in place, guys, we would have just been able to log in, go bang, yes or no, saved $79 million, right? Yep. And we would have had an answer in minutes, not how long it took to mail shit in and out and whatever. So that's the power of blockchain. You can literally have the other one. If we go back to investing, right? When the technology is, it's already here. There's a company which I'll share it in the community. But basically, you can already buy and sell a house, right, on the same day.
Yeah.
One day. So it's already happening. But this, mate, got to remind me actually, because I was meant to share this opportunity with the community bloody at the start of this week. But basically what we used to say is, imagine this, right? You go to an open home, you go, man, this is freaking cool, right? You can literally, with blockchain, you could put an offer in, it could automatically get a pre-approval or approved, right? Docs not even signed, just digitally smart contracts get put in place, and you could get handed the keys that afternoon, right? Yeah. That's the power of the technology. Now, don't get me wrong, the owner may or may not want to get out that night, but at least you know that it's done deal.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the power of what the whole blockchain can be. So don't get confused between the cryptocurrency and the power behind it. Now, me personally, right, why I'm such a fan of a crypto, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, they all have their uses. But if we just take the main one, right, Bitcoin, what I like about Bitcoin is it's the first time in history, right, where we can actually develop a financial system from the people up, as opposed to kings and queens and governments down. Because it's meant to be a flow-on effect, but how many times have you seen kings and queens and government give up their wealth, right? In fact, what they do is they tend to want to control it even more, and they piss on us and call it rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
100%.
Power, guys. And if you think about where we are now, and again, trying to stay out of rabbit holes, but here's the thing: we're 38 days from having legal discrimination. Yeah.
Yep.
Here in New South Wales. So we can go off and we're either going to get into a pub or we're not going to get into a pub. Don't worry about that. Where they're heading though is if you had cryptocurrency in it, and as a business you took cryptocurrency as a payment, right? They can't stop you. Like right now, believe it or not, guys, a government could ring a bank and freeze your accounts. So even if you were a business owner and you were letting non-vaccinated people in, or whatever the case may be, right? Then if you had cryptocurrency, there's jack shit that they can do about it. So you have, again, responsibility, but you have full control over your financial situation. Yep. Yeah. So that's the part you want to consider. And I know that, when I talk about control, I want full control of my life, which is every part of it. Yeah. Yeah. And you hear me talk about a lot, right? But at the end of the day, I would rather not need all the control that I want than wish I had the control that I want.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because we've just experienced how quickly the control of our lives and our freedoms can be taken away with zero. Literally, we can't do anything, right? It's like, didn't even consult me whether I'm allowed to fly or not. Like I look at that and I go, fuck, man.
It's insanity from that perspective. So like we're just on half an hour here. I just want to spend a few more minutes and before we wrap it up. But what I'm really curious about, and to add some value, I know we've got a community that I think like specifically around investing that people should come and jump in and go and check it out. And I'll put the link in the live stream, and I'll include this when we send the replay out. But it's the modern day investor community. Like what type of information are we sharing in that community? And that's a free community that people can join and sign up on.
Yeah, look, I mean, we are getting better and better in that group. I mean, we're those of you that know us, we're an open book. When we make mistakes, we share them. So we've been really crap at our marketing over the years, even though John's tried to help us a number of times. John provided us, I think, with about 500 leads through LinkedIn, and I rang a few of them.
Hey, geez, a few.
Yeah, I did. John actually really knows how to generate leads, right? It's my responsibility to start the conversation once he's got it up and running. Another story. Maybe we should do an episode on what not to do, right? Why I went down a little tangent there, guys, is because we're getting better in there. We are sharing more and more information. There's so much out there. What we want to really do is literally just guide you to understand that if you're open to it, there are better ways to do things, you know, and that's the key about everything that we do. It's like, you don't have to do exactly what we do. You don't have to believe us, right? But I know for a fact that everything that I share with you, you can go find that information yourself. If you stopped watching Netflix, got off Facebook or Tinder, right? So, and I'm harsh on that, but that's the ultimate truth. And, you know, like in our the one-day workshop we do, you know, the last sort of 45 minutes to an hour, I'd give people literally about 30 or 40 opportunities that they could go and invest direct if they wanted to, right? So they don't have to join us and do it. So that's what it's about, right? Just letting know that current system's not working. If it did, and this is actually, this is probably a good way to do it. I've been in the financial services 32 years, right? The actual stats have not changed at all. So when they did a survey of 65-year-olds, only 4% became wealthy and 1 rich, right? So that means that there's 95% people who are either dead broke or dead broke, right? Relying on pensions and governments. And so this current financial system doesn't work. That's the best way to explain it. And we want you to know that there are better ways. Even reducing your debt, there is a better way than the way the bank wants you to. So that's the sort of stuff that we share in that free group.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think just in summary from what we've spoken about today, number one, take responsibility for your own actions. Like, yeah, we all know it. Very few people do it. But when it comes to the future of investing and actually investing, take responsibility. I think the second thing there is looking at the mindset from saving to a wealth account in the business. So yes, still have a savings account, whatever that is, 2 months, 3 months of business expenses, but allocate a wealth account. And a couple of things, just a couple of ideas to consider just to start tricking through. You could be from a company perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Mark, but from a company perspective, even if you were, no, I want to keep money in the company, why don't invest some company money that then offsets those business expenses? So if you had 20 grand in outgoings every month, maybe the company has invested that produces 20 grand of incoming to cover those expenses. I mean, that alone would be life-changing for every single business on the planet. From that point of view. So I think there's those couple of things there. As far as the big takeaways and actions to do, this from my perspective, and Mark, I want to get your opinion here. Number one, definitely come and join the Modern Day Investor group. So we'll include the link with that because there's going to be some great education there. We do have an event coming up. It's a one-day online workshop. It's the 20th here in Australia, Northern Hemisphere. It's the 19th. So we'll share some info about that as well. And I think there was... I know we mentioned about crypto as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, we have got a new video that you've put together, which could be useful as well. On that, the nine ways, is that right?
Yeah, 9 ways to create a cash flow from cryptocurrency. Like one of the strategies that Billy and I use, right? Our savings account, I don't know what you guys get paid in banks these days, point something, right? Our savings account via crypto is making 12%. Yeah. Now here's the thing. Banks could pay us 12% if they wanted to. I think one of the biggest scams out there is, you know, I won't say which bank, right? But they make about $8 to $10 billion. We're such a small country, guys. 25 million people, and one of our banks makes literally $8 to $10 billion net, not gross, net out of their database, right? You don't make that on giving home loans at 2%.
Yeah. Which
bank? I don't know. But anyway, right? So they could pay us 12% if they wanted to, right? But why would they? When they've educated us to think that one to none is good. Yeah.
Well, like, but we're really good. I mean, what's Japan? They've been educated to think what? Losing money is good.
Losing money is okay, right? For the last 20, 30 years, the Japanese, and I love Japan, right? I think it's a beautiful, beautiful place. We've got a cool community over there. And they think that 8% is a scam, right? They've been so well educated. So when they see the opportunities that we have, it takes a lot of uneducation to re-educate them. right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the process of it, guys. Like, seriously, what you've been told may not be real.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a number of levels in our world right now.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, Mark, I really appreciate you taking the time out, because I know you've probably been up since 2 o'clock this morning as well doing those calls. So
bro,
time for
we're
day off today.
Yeah, day off, mate. So that was last week. We're back to normal, right? But yeah.
Sweet.
No, we're gonna
Awesome. So appreciate you taking the time out. A couple of takeaways just to recap there is, if you're watching this live stream in the group, I'll put the links there. Go join the Modern Day Investor community. In that community, the 9 ways of investing or making cash flow income from crypto, we'll get that to you. And if you're watching this on the recording, you'll be able to get access to that information as well. Just follow the links there and you'll be able to get that. Mark, I really appreciate your time. Any final thoughts that you want to share before we wrap it up today?
Look, I think the best way to really look at where you are right now, guys, is if it's working, right, and you are financially independent, don't change, right? Or maybe if you want to add to it, then come and have a chat. But if you're doing something and it's not working, maybe, right, there could be a different way and a better way to do things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the key, guys. It breaks my heart. Like, I love Melbourne, right? In Lygon Street, you know, there's a couple of businesses there that were generational, right?
Yeah.
And are now closed, right? Yeah. Now I got goosebumps, guys, because I am genuinely concerned about small businesses. And the only way we can protect ourselves is to take responsibility, take control, and start to invest outside our business.
Yeah, 100%. Mark, really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot for your time. Everybody, will end it here, and we'll see you again with another expert interview just around the corner. Bye for now.